I'm Greg Winteregg, CEO of Matterhorn Business Development. And for today's video tip, I want to talk about how to really evaluate and assess an objection. In every industry, there are the standard 2, 3, 4 top objections that you get, and you have your kind of circuited, grooved in standard comeback. But the first thing you have to do with any objection is to determine, is that objection faulty or legitimate? People will oftentimes give a faulty explanation for not wanting to do something if they're not closed, they're uncertain, they don't have enough product information yet, so they can just randomly throw out, I don't have the money, I got to check with my spouse, have to run this past my boss, etc., when in actuality, if they were closed, they would just pay. And they're just trying to deflect it. So you have to take a look at the top 2 or 3 objections that you're getting on a regular basis and come up with a question to determine, is this faulty or legitimate? So a common one is, I have to check with my spouse. Well, is that true? We don't know. It just depends on how this couple runs their finances. So what I like to do when they say, I need to check with my spouse, is to just acknowledge that and say, well, what do you think they're going to say? Now, they may come back and say, well, we definitely need to talk about it. That's our policy in our family. Okay, then that's legitimate. But at least 50% of the time, the one spouse will say, well, they're going to ask me if I want it. And then I will say, do you? And they'll say, well, why is this so important? Or why does it cost so? And so there really was something else behind the faulty explanation of, I need to check with my spouse. They say, I don't have that kind of money. Well, that's a pretty common deflection. Is it true or is it not true? Well, you're going to have to come up with something polite that's going to find out if that is true or not. So what I like to do is say, okay, well, if you really wanted this, could you put it on a card? And they would say, well, I have the credit available, but I would never use my credit card for something like this. Well, then we know it's not the money. So it's a fun exercise to do. Write down 2 or 3 of your common stops and barriers that you get, and figure out a way to find out if that is faulty or legitimate. That's my tip for today, and I'll see you soon.